This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Well, joining us today is Dennis Edmonds, the CEO of Kazera Global, following the publication of the company's corporate update. Thank you very much for joining us today. Dennis, how are you doing?
Great to be here again, Mark. Thank you very much. All going very well, thank you.
Good. We've got a few things to catch up on, so I think there's 5 sections that I want to cover today. First of all, your strategic shareholder, African Mineral Sands, acquiring additional shares of Kazira from an existing holder, giving AMS voting rights of over 29.9% of the company's ordinary shares. Could you elaborate on who AMS are and how you see this now significant portion of Kazira's shares held with them?
Yeah, AMS were originally set up some time ago to get involved in heavy mineral sands. One of their principals is very involved in a number of big infrastructure projects, both in Africa and in America. They see, I believe, Kazira as a major strategic investment. They see a number of opportunities that can be created by introducing deals to Kazira and allowing Kazira to be built up. So they see Kazira as being a much, much bigger company in a fairly short period of time. Certainly some of the things that we have looked at and are currently looking at with them are very exciting and will make a very, very big difference to the scale of Kazira.
Does that increased percentage give them a lot of control over the company or not?
Oh, it does. That makes them by far the biggest single shareholder. And so it does mean that they have a substantial input in terms of what happens in the future going forward.
Okay, but that's a good thing as far as you're concerned. You're not concerned about that, and shareholders shouldn't be concerned either?
Oh, no, their interests are very much on seeing Kazera grow and on seeing additional value. They have paid a premium to the current, substantial premium to the current price. That makes no sense at all unless they can increase the share price and see a return on their investment. So it's very good news for everybody.
Okay, good. Well, let's move on to Deep Blue Minerals. And some new equipment has been delivered, some heavy equipment for the diamond project here, which provides increased flexibility in mining locations. So can you let us know what's been happening here and the significance of this new equipment arriving?
Sure. Deep Blue up until now has been slightly put to one side as we've been focusing on the heavy mineral sands. The equipment that we've acquired is for both companies and both projects. It will help us to move big equipment from one project to another. We're going to use it specifically for the diamond operation on the basis that it will enable us to access the most likely profitable diamond areas, which might not be something where we could ordinarily have approached on the basis that we would not be able to do mining there for, say, only a month. Now we will be able to go into a site, work on it for a month, make as much money as we can out of it, and then move on to other sites. So it will mean that we can focus on the most wealthy deposits and hopefully send a good return from diamonds going forward.
Okay, so
because it hasn't been our focus.
Yeah, indeed. So you'll be actually getting diamonds processed and out to market, generating cash flow.
Correct. That will be the intention. Will be to see all cash flow coming from diamonds over the next few months.
Okay, perfect. And then moving on to different areas when you need to.
Well, yeah, exactly. So we will be focused on areas with rich deposits. Mm-hmm. Going into those, they're putting in our biggest excavator, which is a substantial piece of kit. That they will then take off the overburden. We'll then move that there on to the next project and bring in smaller pieces of kit to work through the diamond gravels and to actually sweep the bed. So that they will end up in a situation where we can use the limited amount of equipment we have. The company has always worked on a very tight budget. So use the limited amount of equipment we have to achieve the greatest results.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. Let's talk about something else, and it's the sale of African Tantalum. Now, Kazira has received aggregate proceeds of, I think, $4.2 million US dollars from the sale of this project to Heya Bi Xingjiang Construction. However, they're currently in payment arrears of approximately 1.9 million US, and the situation is under review. I mean, are you at a stalemate here? How do both parties intend to proceed?
Well, Mark, we received a further payment from them. So this month they've paid a bit over $1 million. So they're very much still paying. We've got to put it into context, I think, slightly. Kazira isn't short of cash to achieve the goals that we have at the moment.
Okay.
So there's no need for us to do anything dramatic. And whilst money is still coming in, we're in a good place. We are looking at other alternatives and trying to do some other kind of a deal. And one of the reasons for that is that we're not a bank. And we would prefer to be sitting on the cash rather than on the money coming in over a period of time. But there is absolutely no need for us to be panicking about it. And while the money is coming in, we're earning interest on it. We retain complete ownership of the mine, and they're paying all the costs. It would be self-defeating for us to panic, to say we're going to take this back. And we're going to now carry the costs ourselves. And now we're going to be then focusing on two different mining operations at the same time, being three, the heavy mineral sands, the diamonds, and African Tantalum. And that's going to be a lack of focus, which we don't really want to see. So we're relaxed at the moment. We'll continue to see what we can do in terms of getting things to a faster resolution. But it's certainly no cause for us to be panicking about it.
Okay, but you are actively working in the background to find a solution.
There are a number of different possibilities. The one is that we can find somebody who will buy their tantalum at a better price. And again, AMS have been very instrumental in helping us to find potential buyers. The other would be finding somebody to simply buy the whole project off them. There are a number of people who, at the time we did the deal, who expressed an interest in doing it as well.
Okay.
It's a possibility we could find somebody else to come in and buy the project.
But they've effectively agreed to buy it, but then have sort of run out of money effectively?
No, they're still paying and they're still getting money in. It's just that prices haven't been quite what they'd hoped for. Production hasn't been quite what they'd hoped for. It's their problem. It's coming right.
Okay.
Well, and the fact that they've paid, sorry, Mark, the fact they've paid another $1 million this month is, a substantial indication of the fact that they are still very much intending on completing this deal, because every single dollar they pay us is a dollar they don't get back if we cancel.
Indeed. Okay, thank you for that update. I want to talk a little bit about your relationship with Alexkor. That's you've strengthened that relationship with the joint venture partner here. The joint venture between Alexkor and Richtersveld Mining Company. And you say this collaboration aims to create job opportunities for the local Richtersveld community. Could you discuss the legacy of this arrangement and the nature of the value inherent for Kazira's operations?
Yeah, ever since I became CEO of the company, I've been banging on about the fact about how we'd like to have a good relationship with the local community, how we'd like to see our role as being one of creating jobs, creating opportunities, spreading the wealth effectively. And that can only happen when we have a successful company. Alexkor we've had issues with over the past in terms of various management in the past, and it is absolutely fantastic that Alexkor's management currently is very much focused on what we can do for the Richtersveld community and for Alexkor in terms of if we can make our company successful, everybody benefits. That's always been our intention, and that is exactly what will happen. Okay. And having the support of Alexkor, and they've been fantastic. Over the last couple of months, they've made available to us, so with our heavy mineral sands, don't forget everything we do is in a diamond mining area, so everything is highly controlled by security. Mm-hmm. They've made an area available to us to one side, an area which has already been previously used. So it's eminently suitable for us to put a big pad in it for the storage of heavy mineral sands. There are security buildings where we have to go through security. We have to run our own security from there. That's been made available to us. they've made available a fantastic storage facility for our new low bed, which is an enormous piece of machinery. So we can work there. We've got the ability to we have the ability to set up workshops indoors, which means that it's a harsh environment out there, and having our teams being able to work in a much more pleasant environment is going to make a big difference. Obviously, it's going to have an impact on our equipment. It's just a fantastic place to be, and that's only down to Alexkor and their willingness to work with us and make things available for us. So it's great.
Okay. That's good to hear. Well, finally, Dennis, let's talk about the pilot plant at Whalehead Minerals. Now, the pilot plant has shown promising results in the heavy mineral sand processing, and samples indicate the presence of valuable minerals such as rutile, zircon, and monazite. I think I'm hopefully saying that correctly. And the company is engaging with the National Nuclear Regulator to determine if there's any specific permitting is required due to levels of radioactivity in the samples. So is this something to be concerned about at all? What's going on with the situation?
It's been slightly frustrating in that we were hoping to be in production and generating cash. But I guess had you asked me, or probably any other shareholder, would you prefer to have a product which is in production now, or would you prefer to be waiting for 3 or 4 months and to have a product in production which has got twice the value? I think we'd all be saying we'd hold on for that 3 or 4 months. So whilst it's been slightly frustrating, it's actually really good news for us. Okay. It helps us to work on putting together the infrastructure. You know, the area we're putting together with that's been made available to us by Alexkor is a big area. It's going to require an extensive amount of work. We're going to have to set up a bagging facility because, irrespective of the radiation, the product will have to be sold in bags. So we've got all those things to do. So the team are all busy out there. And, you know, one of the things that was made very, very clear to me when I was in South Africa recently was how quickly this project has moved from getting a permit to actually being on the edge of production. I mean, you consider and I can't think of another mining project where, you know, by the time people have done feasibility studies and assessments and all the rest of it, it's been years. It's not been under a year from where we are from where we started to where we are now. So yeah, I'm delighted. The guys on the ground have been fantastic. They've done such a great job. And, you know, it's down to them that we've got the relationship we have with Alexkor. And it's down to them that we are as advanced as we are. So it is a bit of a delay, which is irritating, but it's actually really good news in terms of the increased value and the increased interest in this product from both South African and international buyers. So overall, I'm really, really pleased.
You're pleased about that. You're not concerned that the radioactivity may cause you some problems?
It'll cause us problems in that it is something that we're going to have to manage. Yeah. Radioactivity is not unknown in heavy mineral sands or in lots of other products. It's a fairly natural context of consequence of mining very often. And there are processes in place in terms of how it's got to be managed. Those processes will cost us probably a slight amount more money. But the real impact of them is that you just got to go through the process. And to go through the process, you've got to get a license from the nuclear regulator in South Africa. And you have to assure them that you're going to be following the correct processes. And that's going to take some time. But it's a question of procedure rather than substance.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for giving us that update today. Dennis Edmonds, the CEO of Kazera Global.
Thank you. Goodbye.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stopboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.